I just had to do it. I'm glad I did. It looks pretty cool. Hey folks, I'm Mike. This is KEI Fabrication. 2.5 years ago, we pulled what was left of this vintage open wheel NASCAR modified out of the woods, and we've begun the resurrection process. Here we are 45 years later, and this car is extremely close to returning to the track. These videos are an attempt to share the story of how the families that campaigned this car were impacted, as well as the restoration process. I hope you like this stuff. Follow along, like, share, and subscribe. And C-130s are out practicing today. Go on the journey with us. Well, it's a start anyway. If you think that went well, you're greatly mistaken. That is a disaster. It looks kind of cool. It'll be okay for what, you know, an old stock car. But I ran into some major issues. One of them was I didn't tighten the dies down, and the offset on the dies made a different edge. I had too much of a flange on here, and it got hung up in the throat of the bead roller, and the design I wanted to do exceeded the throat depth, and I had to do some creative things to correct it. So I've got almost no time on this. It's probably been at least 6 months since I've done something with it. So I'm rusty at best, and I've only done about 3 panels total with that step offset to try to make a design in a panel. But good news is this one's done, and it was good practice because I've got several other panels to make. Seeing it sitting there like that, it actually looks pretty decent. Again, it's not perfect. I know where all the flaws are. Floors, get it? Flaws. But it's going to be how you see it, regardless of how good it came out, because I'm not taking the time to doing it over, and I'm not going to waste another large chunk of sheet metal. Let's see how well it installs. Not too bad. Now I've got the driver's side floor pan kind of roughed into shape. Now I can work on the tunnel part, because now I've got the landing zone where the tunnel is going to meet up against the floor pan. I am definitely glutton for punishment. I thought of this in my sleep last night. Man, I wish I slept better. I have no idea if I can remember how to do this. I just had to do it. I'm glad I did. It looks pretty cool. Well, it's not doing what I expected, but because it's making the outer die walk off the machine. So I have no choice but to continue on with my pattern, and hopefully it doesn't walk off anymore. It's kind of cool looking, but it's not going to be consistent with what I've done in the past. But I'm not going to make a new piece because I don't have the time or the material. So if you want a more dramatic offset, you offset the dies and it'll give you just that, whether you want it or not. The good news is it looks like it's going to be consistent throughout the run, so alright. Doesn't look too bad, but it adds a ton of strength when you put that bead in there. So this is what happened when I started the job. This set screw must have been loose. Yeah, I can move it by my hands. It started walking off the shaft. Fortunately, it went a certain distance and stayed there, so the bead was consistent throughout the little project. So anyway, I'll have to live with that. So I don't use this enough to, to look out for that sort of thing. This is the first time it's really bit me like it has. So we'll just have to do a better job at remembering to make sure all the set screws are tight. It's a little ugly in this corner, but I had no choice but to put the flange in on the piece ahead of time, and it really interfered with it. But the good news is this is all going to be hidden behind some other devices, so we're going to have to let it slide. Well, we got a couple more holes filled in the floor pan. Got the passenger side under the seat pan. There's a filler panel that connects that seat belt tube to the front driver's side floor pan, just like the one that's over here. And I'm getting the main firewall section behind the driver. I've got the markings made to try to cut it close to shape, and it should look something like the passenger side one sometime in the near future. I'm getting tired. Don't want to make mistakes, so I'm going to call it a day and pick this up again tomorrow. Do you smell that, or is it just me? Alright folks, that's going to be it for this one. If you're still with me, obviously you like this sort of thing. Thank you so much for following along with the rebuilding and restoration of the old number 7, otherwise known as the B&J Special. Thanks for watching. Follow along. There's more good stuff to come. Subscribe, like, please comment below. I'm always encouraged and interested in hearing what your thoughts are and interacting with you. Thanks again. Hit that like button for me, would you please?